Tonight, the severe storm threat for millions as we come on the air. More than 90 million on alert from the Midwest into the Northeast. A tornado watch across multiple states. Pounding rain, violent winds into the night and through tomorrow. Dangerous heat in the triple digits. Lee Goldberg is tracking it all. Hours after President Trump threatened a major escalation in the war in Iran, his sudden about-face calling off new military strikes. The president now says a deal with Iran could be in place as early as this weekend. Rachel Scott reports from the White House. The images coming in, a series of explosions level a home and rock an entire neighborhood. A massive fireball, at least 9 homes damaged. Tonight, the chilling political assassination that stunned the country. The accused killer admitting to the attacks, pleading guilty to murdering a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband and critically wounding a state senator and his wife. President Trump announces his nominee for the next director of national intelligence amid bipartisan backlash over who will fill the role on an acting basis. Angry lawmakers leave town without approving a key spy tool. Here in New York, celebrations get out of control after the Knicks' historic comeback against the Spurs in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Dozens of fans arrested, some throwing eggs at Spurs star Victor Wembanyama outside the team's hotel. Tonight, the urgent warning about a growing criminal trend. Authorities say teenagers are being recruited online for violent crimes, including killings, bombings, and abductions. Dashcam video shows the moment one police officer mistakenly is shot by another. The police chief is calling it horseplay. The World Cup.
This is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. We begin tonight with a tornado emergency at this hour. Warnings and watches across multiple states and the severe storm outbreak across the country. More than 90 million people are under alerts from the Midwest into the Northeast. Dangerous thunderstorms, large hail, and damaging winds. More than a dozen tornadoes reported just in the last 24 hours, including a twister spotted in Unionville, Missouri. Blinding rain, hail, and winds up to 60 miles per hour blowing across Glenwood, Minnesota. More than 900 flights canceled nationwide, thousands more delayed. Storms on the move through tomorrow, along with dangerous heat in the triple digits from Texas to the Northeast. Lee Goldberg is standing by with the forecast. ABC's Alex Perez leads us off.
Tonight, a 1-2 punch of storms threatening more tornadoes after a violent 24 hours in the heartland.
Look at that.
This multi-vortex tornado touching down in northern Missouri overnight. In Darlington, Wisconsin, multiple power flashes caught on an officer's dash cam. More than 400,000 losing power across the storm zone. Chicago slammed with straight-line winds overnight.
Oh my God, look at the car.
Branches snapping off trees along the city's famed Michigan Avenue, landing on cars.
Oh my God.
Lounge chairs flying into traffic. The storms uprooted massive trees all over the area, blocking train tracks and breaking windows.
One of the larger branches on the trees snapped off, and then as it came down, it broke in half, hit our side of the building as well as our neighbors.
High winds peeling the roof off of this condo building. You can see it hanging down over the side. Northwest of Milwaukee in Lomira, Wisconsin, crews racing to shore up this apartment complex after storms tore the roof clean off. Residents helping each other clean up their damaged neighborhoods.
That's small town Wisconsin. That's how we do things here.
And Lindsay, those straight line winds creating some real damage, snapping this tree, slamming it into this car, and as you can see, completely crushing it. A long night ahead for millions. Chicago here under a tornado watch tonight as this storm now heads east. Lindsay?
We'll, of course, be monitoring it all. Alex, thank you. So let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Lee, what are you seeing?
Lindsay, we had a large and destructive tornado northeast of Peoria. That was on the ground. It's tracking northeast. It should stay south of Chicago. Close call with the south side, but closer to Kankakee and Gary, Indiana. Get to a place of safety if you're in the track of this storm. Tornado watches, as you heard, in effect for Chicago, back to northern Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Destructive winds can go up to 80 miles an hour. Severe thunderstorm watches from St. Louis to Tulsa. There are also severe storms from Syracuse to D.C. We had damaging storms across the Hudson Valley of New York and Long Island as well. More severe weather weather tomorrow in the Northeast, New England, New York City, Philly, and D.C., all the way to the Carolinas. Strong storms with damaging winds. It's all because of this heat. It feels like it's in the 100s. We'll get a little break in the humidity over the weekend. Lindsay?
Lots of activity there, Lee. Thank you. Also breaking tonight, President Trump cancels new military strikes against Iran just hours after signaling the U.S. would launch a major escalation in the war tonight. The president is pulling back on planned strikes, saying a deal to end the war could be in place as early as this weekend. ABC's Rachel Scott is at the White House.
Hours after threatening to hit Iran very hard tonight and seize the country's oil industry, President Trump abruptly backing off, claiming there is now a deal to end the war.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents. We should get done over the next few days.
Iran and the U.S. have been trading fire for days, and this morning President Trump upping the ante, saying the U.S. would be taking Karg Island, the heart of Iran's oil economy, and that the U.S. would then assume total control of their oil and gas markets. But seizing tiny Karg Island could be a bloody battle involving U.S. troops on the ground. President Trump acknowledging war-weary Americans might not be on board.
I don't know that America has the stomach for it, to be honest with you. You're going to make a fortune. But I don't know that America has the stomach. I think they'd like to see us come home.
Iran's chief negotiator with this warning, saying, quote, wrong strategies and impulsive decisions will reset the entire board for the worse. And this afternoon, President Trump posting he had canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings, adding discussions and final points have been in both concept and great detail approved by all parties involved.
You have said before that Iran and the United States were close to a deal. It has not happened yet. Why are you so convinced that this time is different?
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take, and they want to make the deal a lot more than I do.
A source with knowledge of the talks tells ABC News the deal is very close, as mediators have hit some breakthroughs. President Trump said the agreement would immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz. A detailed discussion of Iran's nuclear program would be yet to come.
Was this just essentially setting the stage for deeper talks on nuclear?
It's a very strong memorandum of understanding that is a little conceptual, but it's something that's going to get done. And if it doesn't get done for any reason, which I can't imagine that not happening, they want to sign it as much as I do or more.
President Trump says he believes Iran's supreme leader has already approved the deal. But tonight, Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying Iran has not reached a final conclusion.
And tonight, the terms of any deal, Lindsay, are not clear. Both sides really sticking to their demands, but President Trump says it will happen and that there could be a signing ceremony as soon as this weekend, Lindsay.
We'll be watching for that consensus, potentially. Rachel, thank you. Next tonight, a surging stock market and oil prices plummet after President Trump canceled military strikes on Iran, signaling a deal to end the war might be near. The Dow soaring 929 points, erasing yesterday's losses. The Nasdaq up 640 points. The S&P 500 up as well. Now to the massive home explosion in Wayne County, Pennsylvania. The powerful blast rocking a neighborhood, a fireball shooting into the air. At least 9 homes damaged, multiple injuries reported. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, a quiet neighborhood in Clinton Township in rural northeastern Pennsylvania rocked by several massive explosions.
We had multiple calls on. I have 3 entrapped and 2 houses on fire now.
Authorities say they believe a propane leak sparked the blasts. A neighbor across the street telling our affiliate WNEP that he heard a hissing sound before the large explosions.
The house in front of the buildings here shook so bad that all their front windows are broken out.
Fire engulfing several homes, dozens of first responders on the scene.
Elk house explosion with entrapment. Repeating. Lackawanna County dispatching, station 60, chief requesting manpower.
3 residents were taken to the hospital and at least 2 homes collapsed. When much of the smoke cleared, complete devastation. A chimney, all that was left of one home, the skeletons of burnt-out cars, rubble where homes once stood. Lindsay, the cause of these explosions remain under investigation. Lindsay?
All right, Matt, thank you. Tonight, the chilling case raising concerns about the rise in political violence in this country. An accused killer pleading guilty to murdering a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband and critically wounding a state senator and his wife. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
The political assassination shocked the country 1 year ago. Former Minnesota State Speaker Melissa Hortman gunned down along with her husband Mark and the family dog. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette shot and wounded too. The gunman seen in that chilling image hunting lawmakers in their own homes, wearing a latex mask disguised as a police officer. Investigators say this was his fake patrol car. Tonight, that man, Vance Bolter, pleaded guilty to murder and stalking in a deal to avoid the death penalty. Federal prosecutors said the attacks were politically motivated.
What drives a criminal to want to commit this sort of brutal murder and to do it as coldly as it was done? I wonder if any of us who live law-abiding lives will ever really be able to understand that sort of motivation.
There was sobbing in the courtroom as both families listened to Bolter admit to the crimes. And tonight, the Hoffmans who survived that attack saying in a statement, quote, "There's no justice for Mark and Melissa Hortman, and there's not justice when our family and our state will never truly heal."
And Lindsay, Bolter will spend the rest of his life in prison. He is still facing state charges, including 2 counts of murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. Lindsay.
Faith, thank you. Next tonight, President Trump announces his nominee for the next Director of National Intelligence. It comes amid bipartisan backlash over who will fill the role on an acting basis. Angry lawmakers leaving town without approving a key spy tool. ABC's Jay O'Brien is on the Hill.
Tonight, President Trump announcing he will nominate Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the powerful Southern District of New York, as the next Director of National Intelligence, an effort to quell a bipartisan firestorm on Capitol Hill. Democrats and some Republicans furious about the man Trump picked to fill the job on an acting basis until Clayton is confirmed, Bill Pulte, who runs the Federal Housing Finance Agency and has used the role to go after the president's political enemies. Pulte has no national security experience.
Bill Pulte is a national security threat.
Democrats now refusing to vote to authorize an extension of FISA, a critical national security tool used for warrantless foreign surveillance, which is set to expire tomorrow at midnight.
Pulte's got to go before anything else can happen.
But are you concerned that by drawing this line, Democrats could be opening up the country to a national security concern?
We have great national security concerns with Pulte.
Republicans throwing up their hands, noting the danger of letting FISA expire with the U.S. at war and a host of high-profile events set for the summer, the World Cup and the celebration of America's 250th.
They're blocking a critical national security tool because they don't like the president's temporary, short-term pick for acting DNI.
Tonight, the president sticking with Pulte.
He's running it for a short while we get a very talented person, Jay Clayton, in.
Trump saying he wants Pulte to slash the staff of the Director of National Intelligence, expected to get his chance when he takes over in about a week.
But, Lindsay, the Senate moving unusually quickly, scheduling the nomination hearing for Jay Clayton for next Wednesday, trying to get him in and Bill Pulte out as soon as possible, Lindsay.
Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill for us. Jay, thank you. Tonight, the celebrations and chaos following the Knicks win over the Spurs in Game 4 of the NBA Finals in New York. More than 50 people arrested as crowds swelled outside the security perimeter around Madison Square Garden. Some fans also threw eggs at San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama as the team returned to their hotel in Manhattan after the game. And next tonight, the urgent warning about a growing criminal trend. Authorities say teenagers are being recruited online for violent crimes, including killings, bombings, and abductions. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
This is no video game or scene from a crime drama. These videos show real crimes carried out by real teenagers. And tonight, authorities say they're part of a growing and terrifying trend.
These kids are being recruited for the most vicious crimes, for killings, for bombings, for abductions. It's taking place online, on social media, on gaming platforms.
Police say the online recruitment of teens to do the dirty work of criminal organizations is now one of the biggest crime problems in Europe, and one that's coming to the United States. Annalie Berg's 16-year-old son Rio was a victim.
Still hard to believe. Sometimes I feel like I'm dreaming, like a nightmare.
In 2025, he was on his way home when a hooded stranger came up from behind, pulled a gun, and opened fire, killing young Rio, who was not the intended target. Police say the gunman was no professional assassin, but a fellow teen recruited for the job online by a gang.
The kids do the dirty work for them, and then they just throw them away like garbage. They don't care about them.
The 16-year-old hitman in this case, Lindsay, was immediately caught, convicted, and sent to prison. So it's 2 young lives wasted. Police say this online recruitment trend is spreading and should be a wake-up call for parents. Lindsay?
So good for parents to know, Aaron. Thank you. And you'll have more tonight on Nightline. When we come back, the images coming in, a massive warehouse fire erupting late today. Emergency crews on the scene. Alarming video shows a terrifying moment. One police officer is accidentally shot by another. The World Cup. Tonight, a raging warehouse fire is burning about 60 miles outside San Francisco. The massive facility is used by a medical supply company. Black smoke from the site visible for miles. Firefighters are trying to contain the flames. No word of injuries. The cause is under investigation. New video reveals a shocking mistake inside a police parking garage in Pasadena, California. Video shows the moment one police officer is shot by a fellow officer. The bullet fired through the windshield of a patrol car, hitting the officer in the shoulder. The officer survived. The shooting is under investigation. The police chief is calling it dangerous horseplay. When we return, under tight security, the World Cup is officially underway, and Dolly Parton brews up a new project. To the index now, security is tight as the biggest World Cup in history kicks off in Mexico. The tournament opening today with Mexico taking on South Africa in Mexico City. The match following a star-studded opening ceremony featuring Mexican rock band Mana and Colombian superstar Shakira. Tomorrow, the U.S. men's national team begins their World Cup campaign against Paraguay. And Dolly Parton is giving fans a real-life cup of ambition.